Good evening, and everywhere in Britain it's a very wintry prospect indeed, with snow likely away from the northwest. We've easterly winds now across all areas, blowing from an exceptionally cold continent. Temperatures as low as -10 centigrade, 14 Fahrenheit over Holland, only about 100 miles away.
Blocking roads throughout northeastern England, and all major routes in the area are reported to be extremely dangerous, if not actually impassable. Villages are cut off, and it could take workmen 2 days to cut paths through to some of them. The only reliable road into Scotland this afternoon has been the A1, but snow clearance work is due to stop.
And I'm sure you're all fully aware of the appalling weather that's around at the moment: snow, severe frost, and the often strong or gale-force northeasterly winds leading to drifting and blizzard conditions in some districts. Definitely not a day for going outside or travelling unless you really have to. This time it's the turn of southern Britain to take the brunt.
There have been heavy snowfalls and blizzards in many parts of Britain during the night. Reports from most regional centres tell the same story. Roads are blocked, and those which are still open are often treacherous. Remote communities are cut off and services disrupted. The snow has also been accompanied by high winds, and this has brought special problems.
Drifting snow have blocked roads, brought down power lines on Canvey Island, and produced 10-foot drifts in parts of Essex and Kent. Heathrow Airport is closed at least until lunchtime, though Gatwick...
Snowplows have been fighting a losing battle as the winds continue to blow the snow into drifts. Motorists have been stranded nearly everywhere, and trains have got stuck. Flights have been delayed and diverted, and to add to the problems, the forecasters say the cold spell will continue for at least...
South and central part of the country completely paralysed. Over 300 people had to spend the night on 3 trains, which became trapped in the drifting snow. It's snow being driven by gale-force winds in places that's causing problems on the roads.
All of Britain in a very cold 24 hours, with a very hard frost night and day in nearly all districts. Much of the country is under snow and or ice, and nothing much is going to change that for the time being. For some forecast detail, I'll take 3 areas. First, the eastern half of England from London and the southeast as far west as and including Hampshire and Berkshire, through the eastern Midlands and East Anglia to east and northeast England. There'll be snow showers for some hours yet in these districts, some heavy and prolonged with drifting, especially towards the east coast. Increasingly though, these showers will become
Further heavy snowfalls in the northeast and East Anglia. Central Scotland was the coldest, with the temperature down to -14. Driving conditions are hazardous, with roads still blocked by snow in many parts of the country, including the A1 in Northumberland, the A2 in Kent and the A38 in Devon. On the railways, a slightly reduced Sunday service is planned today, but again some lines are blocked. In southern region, for example, branch lines are still closed by snow in Kent, Surrey and Hampshire. However, both Heathrow and Gatwick airports are operating now, although some passengers are still waiting for flights which were delayed yesterday. In Essex, several hundred people had to spend much of the night in emergency reception centres after the sea.
Britain is not alone in suffering from severe weather. Throughout Northern Europe, the start of the new year has been marked by heavy snowfalls and extreme cold. In Moscow, the temperature dropped to -45 degrees centigrade, making it one of the city's coldest days on record. In Sweden, it's been even colder with temperatures of -50 degrees centigrade.
It's completely cut off from the rest of Kent when the 3 main roads from Herne Bay, Canterbury and Dover were blocked by snowdrifts. The towns of Margate, Ramsgate and Broadstairs were completely isolated by the weather conditions.
Night all over the country. One Yorkshire village has had a temperature of -17 degrees centigrade, and there has been more snow in northwest England and in the Midlands. In the south, people returning to work this morning are likely to face problems on the railways.
Cold weather now has most of Europe in its grip, bringing a chaotic end to the Christmas and New Year holiday. Here at home, thousands of people will find it difficult or impossible to get back to work this morning, with roads iced up or blocked by snowdrifts and trains frozen in their sidings. 30 degrees of frost were recorded in Yorkshire during the night. There's been freezing fog in some places and snow has been falling again in others. The situation is just as grim on the continent, where it's been snowing in some places for days on end. Weather forecasters say it's the worst freeze there for decades. The atrocious conditions have brought a rising toll of deaths. Since Friday, at least 26 people have died in Britain and the west of Europe, and others are reported missing. For a look first at the situation in Britain, here's Nicholas Jones.
It's been a bitterly cold night again in the whole of the country, with the lowest temperature, -17 centigrade, reported at Linton-upon-Ouse in Yorkshire. In Northern Ireland, it was down to -15, and it was nearly as cold in the southwest, with -13 recorded in Exeter and Yeovil. There was more snow during the night in parts of the Midlands and the northwest. Many roads...
Heavy snow and sub-zero temperatures brought much of northern and eastern Europe to its knees. Poland appeared the worst hit, with the government declaring a disaster area in northern central provinces. Last night, radio and television interrupted programs to report on the worsening situation. 800 train services were cancelled, schools were closed, and some electricity supplies cut off. Many of the main trunk roads are now impassable, and in the capital, some 10,000 people were expected to be on the streets this morning to try and maintain essential services. In East Germany, roads which had been cleared were blocked again last night by heavy snowfalls.
Weather and travel information make the news this morning. The severe weather conditions during the night caused problems on many roads in the southeast, with Essex as the worst affected area. Several major roads are still blocked in many places. They are the A130, A133, A414, A604, A1060 and...
The worst nights of the winter, with strong winds and fresh snowfalls causing drifting on major roads throughout the country. The railways too have been badly affected. Our reporter Neil Bennett has been checking on the latest situation.
According to one of the motoring organisations, much of the eastern half of the country is looking like a Siberian wasteland. About 100 major roads from Kent up to the east coast of Scotland have been blocked by snowdrifts up to 7 feet deep in some places and by hundreds of abandoned vehicles. In Cumbria, conditions are getting worse.
Easterly winds will make it another bitterly cold day everywhere. Temperatures will stay below freezing in most places. Eastern counties of England and Scotland are going to have heavy snow showers, and in the more southern counties of Lincolnshire, the Midland, East Anglia and South East England, more prolonged periods of snow, giving heavy falls in places and considerable drifting. In Wales and southwest England...
The blizzards on Humberside are so severe that even the council's emergency planning centre near Hull has been cut off by snow, and the man in charge is stranded at home. A lemonade factory in Hull has stopped deliveries because the pop was freezing in the bottles. And now the railways are being seriously disrupted. British Rail say that to the north of Sheffield, services are virtually non-existent, and it'll come as no surprise.
First for London and southern counties from Kent to Hampshire and Wiltshire, the Midlands, East Anglia, Lincolnshire, Yorkshire, Cheshire and South Lancashire. Further periods of snow tonight, heavy at times with drifting in the strong northeast wind, the combination of wind and snow producing blizzard conditions in places, especially in East Anglia, Lincolnshire and over the South Pennines. Tomorrow, still snow at times.
But despite the gales and the icy conditions on the roads, the snows have been thawing. And in Sussex, farmers were taking advantage of the break in the blizzard to rescue cattle and sheep that were trapped by the snow.